Hi AP Econ students, Mr. Mahler here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about consumer choice, which seems more like a marketing topic to take a look at, but this is really the basis for our second unit on the role of markets, because this creates the conditions where supply and demand take place, which is how prices can be set in an economy. Not always, but ideally, that's how prices can be set. So let's talk about consumer choice. And again, when you watch this video, you're going to be realizing this is just kind of how life works, but we're just giving terms and definitions to things that already exist within society. So, hope you're excited. I'm excited. Let's get started. So, let's talk about consumer satisfaction. When economists are looking at how much satisfaction someone gets from purchasing a good or participating in a service, economists call that utility. So that's a particular measure. That's something that economists came up with to try and say how much satisfaction a consumer gets from eating that Big Mac or buying that iPhone or going to Disney World. Because if we can't have a measurement for consumer satisfaction, then we can't understand why people make the choices that they make with their purchasing decisions. So we use this measure of utility. So a util is 1 unit of utility. It's a 1 unit of satisfaction to measure the enjoyment from the consumption of a good or service, just like it's 1 calorie or it's 1 inch. A util is just 1 unit of utility. So that's just the terms that we use to measure consumer satisfaction. And the reason, again, why we do this is if we as economists can predict how much people like participating in that service or consuming that good, then you can make marketing decisions or economic decisions with your business about how you can create a product or market that product. Now, the thing to remember is because people are people, utility is different for everyone. So I might really have a lot of utils for eating a Big Mac, but the vegan across the street might have 0 utils of satisfaction for consuming a Big Mac. It's different for everyone. So a couple of terms to know here. When we're trying to measure consumer satisfaction, we always do this with the idea of marginal utility. And again, economists think in the margins. What is the benefit for doing X one more time? And the idea is you keep doing that thing, you keep consuming that thing until it no longer has any value. Even if it has a little bit more value to do it one more time, you should do it that one more time because you are going to get some satisfaction out of it. But there is a rule with this, and it's called the Law of Diminishing Marginal Utility. And it's the idea that that marginal utility, how much satisfaction you get from doing that thing one more time or consuming that thing one more time, that good or that service, it's going to decline. You will eventually stop doing that. No matter how much you love that type of food or you love going to Disney World or you love whatever, at some point you're going to stop doing it because it's not going to be, you're not going to have that satisfaction. So let's look at an example here, and I love this. Let's say you're a brownie person, and you just crave brownies. And so you make a tray of brownies, a big tray, right? And you have your first brownie, and oh man, you gave a lot of utils to eating that brownie. That was a lot. That was delicious. You know what? Let's have a second one. So you have a second one. Still really good, still delicious, but didn't have as much satisfaction because you already had that first brownie. Let's say you have a third. Still satisfied, but I don't have as much satisfaction. No, it's going down right here. Let's say I have a fourth. Pretty good. Fifth. Okay, I get a little bit more. But then if I get a 6, I'm not getting any more satisfaction out of this. And as I keep eating the brownies, I'm starting to get sick and I'm starting to not feel good. And oh, this was a bad idea, and I'm actually losing satisfaction. That's how the law of diminishing utility works. If you keep eating brownies, eventually you're not going to want to keep eating brownies. And so the idea in economics is you do something as much as you can until you no longer get satisfaction of it, which would have been brownie number 5. Stop after brownie number 5. Use that as a rule of life. You stop eating brownies after brownie number 5. It is a scientific fact that you will get no more satisfaction from eating more than 5 brownies. But again, that's a joke. People are all different. You might want to stop after brownie number 2 or brownie number 10. It depends on people. This is just showing you how those laws work. So, why do we do this in economics? Because we need to decide, people need to decide how to use their limited resources, because we have this idea of scarcity. You don't have unlimited funds, unlimited resources, unlimited money, unlimited whatever. And so we're looking for something called consumer optimism. So that because we have limited resources, what is the proper combination of all the goods and services we could possibly participate in to get the most utility? Now, how do we determine this? We divide market utility by price. And when we get the highest number between all the possible goods we're looking for, we get an optimized decision, or most bang for your buck. It's the idea of, all right, I've got 10 JD or $10 or 10 euros, and I want to, go out to eat. Well, where am I going to go to get the most bang for my buck, to get the most satisfaction with my limited resources? Now, look, real life doesn't operate like this. You don't quantify how many utils you'll get from eating a piece of pizza, but we need to understand this because people do think about it. We just don't quantify it in terms of the idea of utils and utility. So let's look at an example here. So let's say you've got 12 JD, or $12, or 12 euros, or 12 whatever pesos, and you're going to go out to eat. You know what? You want to go to a pizza place. You're craving some pizza right now, as pretty much a lot of people in the world do, and so you want to go. But, you're thirsty, so it's like, okay, I'm going to get some Pepsi or Coke or whatever. Now, what you do is, this person, this imaginary person, could actually say, here's how many utils of satisfaction I will get per can of Coke I consume and per pizza slice I consume. So a lot of utils here, and eventually you see, again, diminishing marginal returns here as they consume more pizza. Also note, the price of a Pepsi can is $1 or 1 JD. And pizza, it's 2 JD or $2 or 2 euros. But you only have 12. So what you have to do is you have to figure out, okay, how can I get the most utility out of consuming these things with my limited resources? So what you do, if we're looking for, again, the idea of consumer optimism, it's marginal utility divided by the price. So if you have marginal utility of 1 can is 9, divided by $1, it's 9, then 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Same thing. It would be 20 utils. The price is $2, so you divide that. It's 10, then 8, 6, whatever. So what you're trying to do is figure out with $12 or 12 JD, how can I get the most satisfaction? Well, really, you're just trying to say you count up the utils, considering how much money you have, and whatever has the highest number, that's what you do. That's where you get the most bang for your buck, where you've reached that consumer optimism. So pause this video and just think, okay, what's the combination to get the most utility? Pause the video, figure it out. Did you try it? Let's see. So the perfect combination here. Let's say I got 5 pizza slices. I would just add up all the utils, and here's your total. Let's say I could do it 2 Pepsi cans and 4 pizza slices. And there's a lot of combinations that you could do for this. But the best bang for your buck, the best consumer optimism is 3 pizza slices and 4 Pepsis. Now, the last thing we need to talk about is how the price of a good can affect the utility you get out of that. And the idea is that when prices get lowered, the marginal utility per euro or per dollar or per JD spent increases because you're getting more bang for your buck. You're getting more consumer optimism. And so that can affect things in 2 ways. One's called a real income effect, where because the price of a good has dropped, you get more purchasing power. If, let's say, everything that has wheat in it drops in price, Well, now you have more purchasing power because everything that uses wheat is suddenly cheaper. You can get more satisfaction from buying those goods. You also have a substitution effect where people buy a substitute for a particular good or service because that substituted product has become less expensive because of a price change. So here's an example. Let's say I am an avid iPhone user. I can't live without a smartphone and I need an iPhone. Apple owns my soul. But let's say Samsung says our latest Galaxy phone is going to be $300 cheaper. Well, I'm going to get a whole lot more utility from getting that substituted product, and that's how the substitution effect works. Now, which effect takes place depends on the price of the good, depends on the particular good itself. But the reason why we do this is because when you can understand why consumers make the choices they do and the thought processes that they go through, we can now start talking about why the prices of goods and services are the way they are. Hope you learned something you didn't know before. Thanks for watching.